chief guest as well as the main speaker of this session to take the dais. I request our beloved Guruji to give a brief introduction to our main speaker today.
Please. It was such a great pleasure for me that I met Nagendra in Delhi. Then he presented me a beautiful book on Bhagavad Gita. He has the book. You see, so small it is. How small it is, you see? He has done luminous work on that beautiful book and brought dimensions as to how the Bhagavad Gita can be looked at. So basically, he was born on 11th September, 9/11. Very interesting, no? 1953. Please sit down. And from Meerut, he did his education on BTech from IIT Kanpur. And being an engineer, he served in various capacities as an engineer. But as it happens to many engineers, they get mad like me. So he also got mad and started entering into this Bhagavad Gita. And then he thought there's something wonderful about it. And he wanted to look at from an ingenious viewpoint, from a scientific perspective, and going into the deeper insights in Bhagavad Gita. So he started writing this book. How many years it took, how many hours he has spent, he will tell all those things to you. Very fascinating. And brought out this beautiful book. Then I called Vaido to come and share your wisdom with our wonderful students who are here and some of the faculty members. And he readily agreed. And it's really so nice that he could spare his time and come today, tomorrow, he'll be here for some time. And after his lectures, we throw questions. Always I have been telling, unless you have good questions, you are not good students. Thank you very much, and please proceed to share your wisdom.
Firstly, I do not want to raise your expectations, my dear friends. I am not any learned person. For Bhagavad Gita, I am a simple student. And this book is in the form of notes that I have made. It is an attempt which I myself made in an attempt to understand what this is all about. Now that is how it all started. And ultimately, those notes have become a book. Now, engineers, they are low IQ people. Compared to lawyers and doctors, engineers are low IQ. And they look at things 1, 2, 3, and systematically. That's the only good thing that engineers are trained for. So, as a matter of habit, I try to look at this book in a systematic fashion. And because of my scientific temper and background, I tried analyzing this entire text on the basis of science and logic. And that is how this book has taken shape. And in the process, not only did I find it extremely scientific, not only did I find it extremely logical, I found it to be the most revolutionary piece of writing known to mankind. We talk of revolution, the, communist revolution, that revolution, all kinds of revolutions. But if there is one piece of revolutionary writing, it is Bhagavad Gita. Guruji, firstly, I want to thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity of being in your midst. Guruji was so very kind. I met him very briefly and very, very spontaneously. He simply said, why don't you come and talk to my students? That is how I am here. It is indeed my pleasure to be here. And then the Honorable Vice-Chancellor, when I spoke to him on telephone, I found him so very receptive, and I feel it's, मैं अल्पज्ञ हूँ और गुरुजी और डॉक्टर साहब जैसे ज्ञानी पुरुष लोग यहाँ लोग बैठे हैं, मैं फिर भी डॉक्टर साहब ये प्रयास करूँगा कि आप के जो मानक हैं उन पे मैं खड़ा होने का प्रयास करूँगा। ये मुझे मालूम है कि गुरुजी is rushed for time. He is likely to leave for Bangalore for an important meeting, and it's a great honor that he has stayed back to spend a little time. So instead of taking a longer route or two, I wanted to start by saying so many other things. I'll keep it very simple. I'll first go into the logical part of Bhagavad Gita. Now, is part Hindi somewhere okay? I mean, with me English, Hindi both are fine. So okay. Now, for any knowledge, now, like a theorem of geometry, let us understand this. For every knowledge, there has to be a knower and there has to be a known. There can be no knowledge in the absence of a knower, and if there is no known, even if there is a knower, there still is no knowledge. So, three things: knower, known, and the interaction between the knower and the known is knowledge. One. Now, the second part, when you wake up, very often you wake up from very, very deep sleep. You get up in the morning and exclaim that I slept like a log. मैं कल रात को इतनी गहरी नींद में सोया कि मुझको कोई होश नहीं था। वो क्या चीज थी जिसको होश था कि रात को आपको होश नहीं था? Somebody was aware that you slept like a log. I mean, it's not that your mother told you in the morning that you slept like a log, or your husband or your friend or anybody or your colleague or whoever. You could have been alone in your room. You still get that feeling that I really slept like a log. कि मैं इतनी गहरी नींद में था, जिसको सुसुप्ति की हम संज्ञा देते हैं, कि मैं इतनी गहरी निद्रा में था कि मुझको कोई होश नहीं था। मगर कोई चीज थी जिसको वो होश था, जिसने आपको सुबह ये बताया कि रात को आपको कोई होश नहीं था। Am I clear? Look, I mean, it's not a lecture. I am just sharing it's a talk. I am just sharing some things so that, I want to make you realize that there is so much of logic, that this is not a religious scripture. It is way, way, way beyond. In fact, Bhagavad Gita takes you even beyond what we understand as Hinduism today. It is beyond all religions. So this was the second part of the second proposition of the theorem. Okay. Now, you might have heard the name of Charles Darwin. Right? His theory of evolution. He has theorized, and he's a virtual god in the Western world at least. He has theorized that matter has evolved from very, very simple, amoeba type of things, and it has evolved from non-life to life, from simple to more complex molecules. And that this is a random evolution. That, just the best code, the strongest code remains inbuilt and gets preserved, and everything else is formed. For example, they have theorized that a human being also might have had a tail in the past. Now it is not necessary, so it has got lost. So now, for a minute, say matter might have evolved in that fashion. The question Charles Darwin or no philosophy at all has ever answered except in India, how has consciousness evolved? You know what is the till date wisdom about consciousness? That there is consciousness is a happy random accident. Now, we have such a fantastic theory of evolution supported over the last nearly 550 years or 60, more than that. And people have been, who have contradicted Charles Darwin, they have been exorcised from society, they have been burnt at the stake. Bruno was burned. Copernicus challenged he said, look, the earth goes round the sun. He was put under house arrest. So, till date, as late as 2011, ये अभी आपने सुना होगा पिछले 5-6 दिन पहले न्यूज में देखा होगा कि हमारी स्पेस क्राफ्ट गई है, प्रोब गया है जो सैटर्न के मून्स के पास से गुजर रहा है और फोटोग्राफ करा है. तो उस स्पेस मिशन की जो का टीम लीड था साइंटिस्ट नासा का कॉर्पोरेट, उसको 2011 में उसने क्योंकि ये कहा कि there is some intelligence behind this universe, it is not purely accidental as has been made out by Charles Darwin, it is not random, right? Even he was thrown out of his job. I am talking of 2011, less than 4 years ago from today, right? So this theory of evolution is absolutely incomplete. Charles Darwin may have been brought to the Western world, but in terms of logic, come to think of it, who is aware of that change? Who is aware of that evolution? Who ensures that it evolves? This simple logic, my friends, is that if anything can evolve, if anything can change, if it evolves, it can degenerate. Charles Darwin has not proffered any explanation. Modern day science of evolution has not proffered any explanation whatsoever till date as to why there is evolution alone. No explanation. But if there is evolution, it makes it changeful. If it is changeful, right, it must be born, it must die. It can degenerate. Something has to be aware. Something has to be aware of that change. Something has to be aware of that death. Something has to be aware of that birth. There has to be a knower. That was the first proposition. We have knowledge that things are evolving. We have knowledge that they may degenerate or that they are born. This is knowledge. So there has to be a knower. That was the first thing that I said. What is that knower? And that is the consciousness. I'm not talking of the conscience part of it. I'm not talking of moral science. I'm talking of Chetana, consciousness, that is aware of this change. Now, let's move to the next. Therefore, this body, which is born, it evolves, it dies. These are all changes in the body. Something that there has to be a consciousness which is beyond this change, which observes this change, which illumines this change. Even Einstein, one of our best known scientists till date, I'll read out a quote, what he said: "Strange is our situation here upon this earth. Each of us comes for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to a divine purpose." And the next part of what he said was, no event can be postulated without the presence of a witness and observer. So that is where we started. So this evolution, which has been proposed by Charles Darwin, remains incomplete. But if you now go back and read verses 11 to 30 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, analyze it, look at this from this perspective. So there has to be a consciousness which is in us, which is conscious of this change, of our being born, of our evolving, of our maturing, of our dying, of this body. So there is a consciousness. Now, the next thing is, if this consciousness in me is different from the consciousness in you, right? I mean, हम कहें कि सब में हमारे, जिनको हम कहते हैं हम सब की आत्माएं अलग अलग हैं, हम सब की चेतनाएं अलग अलग हैं. I am trying to correct that notion now. If these consciousnesses are different, then they are also finite. Anything more than one is finite. वो limited है. जो एक से ज़्यादा है, चाहे वो 2 हो, चाहे billions में हो, चाहे innumerable हो, it makes it finite. And everything finite, my friends, is again mutable. It is going to change. It is going to evolve. It is going to degenerate. It is going to be born. It is going to die. So therefore, my consciousness or your consciousness or the consciousness in each one of us is liable to change. It is liable to birth. It is liable to death. But the question as we started, who then would be aware of the change in our respective consciousnesses? As I said, there has to be knower. When my consciousness is changing, if it is changing, and I am just advancing the logic, if this consciousness in me and you is changing, something else has to be aware. So the logic is that there has to be a changeless consciousness which is different from the so-called different consciousnesses in us, and there has to be a changeless consciousness which is separate. Now, if this changeless consciousness is entirely distinct from the changeful consciousnesses that are there in us, right, then that is also rendered finite, because that is one separate identity, changeless consciousness. And it is that we have a different set of identities here, the changeful consciousnesses, so-called changeful consciousnesses in us. Therefore, that changeless and this makes it more than one. Therefore, that also rendered finite. Therefore, it will also have to undergo everything that all finite things have to undergo. Therefore, this changeless consciousness has to be the same as the so believed changeful consciousnesses in us. They have to be one and the same. Therefore, all the consciousnesses merge into one single changeless consciousness. That is the philosophy of Advaita. I'll take you one more step. Now, if this knower, if this illuminer, if this changeless consciousness, which is illumining each of these bodies, so-called changeful bodies, then if they are also different, right, then again that is rendered finite along with the changeful bodies. It must again be subject to birth, death, change. Therefore, now look at verses 4 to 7 of chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, this changeful, all changeful bodies in this cosmos are made of the 5 great elements. And the human body is made up of 8. Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. I'm naming the verses, chapter 7, verses 4 to 7. Okay. He says that know this to be my lower nature, and the other nature is my higher nature. That is the changeless substratum. So, of the same single truth, there is a higher nature, there is a lower nature, but the truth is one. And that higher nature is the changeless substratum, the changeless knower, the changeless consciousness. And it is this, the lower nature is what is changeful. But they are the same. Right? And this exactly is the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta in terms of rationality and logic. Now, even that famous, Shanti mantra, Om Purnamade Purnamidam Purna. If you analyze this, what does it mean? It means from the whole becomes manifest. And from the whole, take away the whole, what remains is still the whole. It is that from infinite, what is going to be born is going to remain infinite. What is going to change will be infinite. If you add to infinite to infinite, it still is infinite. If you subtract infinity from infinite, it's still infinite. This is the Shanti mantra in terms of rationality and logic. Right? I mean, Guruji has left. I'll give you, for example, I'll explain all this in terms of logic. So, Advait is the only philosophy which stands rigorous logic. Everything else, when you talk of Advait in India, I mean, you are aware as students of yoga and sciences and all Veds and all these things that we are reading and understanding, right? We have all kinds of Advait, Vishishta Advait, Bheda, all these things. These are schools of thought. And what the greatness of Indian literature is, we have given due honor and due space to all schools of thought. We have given even Charvak's materialism, we have also called him, a Maharshi. We have Buddhism as a philosophy. I'm not talking of Buddha as an individual, right? Buddhism as a philosophy does not measure up to Advait Vedanta. It is only part. Jainism, I mean, I have no critique of these. I'm just trying to point out what, in terms of rationality and logic, all this means. And that is very briefly, I try to dwell on the logical and rational part of Bhagavad Gita. So I have just given you two examples. One is the verses 11 to 30 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. All this, when this body is changeful. जो ये कहते ना न जायते मेरे को देखिए मैं संस्कृत का कभी सुन नहीं था ना मुझे भगवान की ये जो भी आप कहिए मेरे को संस्कृत इतनी याद भी नहीं रहती है क्योंकि मैं संस्कृत का स्टूडेंट नहीं था अनफॉर्चुनेटली केवल संस्कृत मेरी जो मैंने पढ़ी है वो क्लास 7 तक ही पढ़ी है गुरुजी ये मेरा दुर्भाग्य है कि मैं ज़्यादा संस्कृत पढ़ नहीं पाया मगर हाँ नॉलेज के लिए और रैशनैलिटी के लिए मुझे संस्कृत का नहीं भी ज्ञान था तो फिर भी मैं ये समझ पाया ये जो श्लोक है ना जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित ना अयम भूतवा भविता वा न भूये अजय नित्य शाश्वते अयम पुराणे न हन्यते हन्माने शरीरे इसका अर्थ अगर आप देखने का प्रयास करें दोबारा से तो जो चेंजलेस कॉन्शियसनेस हमारी है ना दैट अलोन दैट वाज नेवर बॉर्न had it been born it is going to die right? Very simple it was not born in the past it is not going to be born in the future it was it is it will remain and only one consciousness that same consciousness is in you that same consciousness is in me it has always been it is the sole illuminer of everything except the illumined bodies are different this changeless consciousness is what is illumining the changeful bodies. Our bodies are different, but the soul, Atma, Jivatma, Paramatma, Chetana, जो भी आप उसको संज्ञा देना चाहें, जो भी नाम से आप कहिए, it is one and the same. This is in terms of logic that I try to dwell on this particular part. I don't want to take a very, very long time on this, explaining all this. I shall now briefly, my idea today is not to give any discourse. I am not fit or qualified to give a discourse, in fact. But I just wanted to draw your attention and share some of these things. Now, Gita is one of the most revolutionary pieces of writing known to mankind. जो let me, for this, let me start a little bit कि जो हमारे वेद हैं, देखिए वेद में एक बहुत बड़ी भ्रांति हमारे दिमाग में है कि जो वेदों में जो कहा गया है ना, वो सब चीज बिल्कुल सत्य है. The Vedas are a record of our journey, of our quest, and when man was interacting with the outside world. Why they are venerable? वो हमारे लिए इतनी पूज्य क्यों है वे? इसलिए क्योंकि हमने जो हमारी क्वेस्ट की यात्रा है, हमने उसको बहुत सिस्टमैटिक रूप से, आदर से उसके अंदर समाहित किया है. बहुत कुछ उसके अंदर सत्य है, बहुत कुछ उसके अंदर सत्य नहीं भी है, which is not withstood the test of logic or scientific rationality. Therefore, what the mistake that we continue to make is we continue to believe a lot of things, including myths, including superstitions. Our religious rituals and rites, and they have clouded the sun of knowledge. And we continue even till date to be guided by so many superstitions, by so many things, right? But as I said, the Vedas have been venerated because they are a true and faithful record of everything that was fanciful, that was rational, that was also unfanciful or irrational, right? It contains everything. It's our complete record. It's our journey. That is why Vedanta, Upanishads, the latter part, which is the rational and logical, essential part, right? That is what we need to hold on to. And we must, over a period of time, it will automatically happen. The signs are already there. People will question the wisdom of so many things. A black cat crosses your way. There is no logic why it is कि उसको अशुभ क्यों कहते हैं, उसकी कोई logic नहीं है. In fact, that's not even an Indian myth. It had its origin in Saudi Arabia. So, what I am trying to say is, Ved, yes, we must venerate them because it's a true and faithful record of everything. But not everything that is contained in them is absolutely correct. This is exactly what I want to say. And therefore, we should not allow false messiahs to play on our emotions, on our ignorance. They are the people who are playing on our false emotions, or on our emotions and or on our sense of insecurity and things like this. We should not allow that to happen. We have the benefit of the Upanishads, of Vedanta, of Bhagavad Gita available to us. This is where, even Arjun, though he was, as a child, he had grown up even with Bhagavan Shri Krishna, but Arjun's education was like yours and mine. He was an excellent archer, an archer par excellence. He was born in a noble family. He truly believed so many of these things, and that is what Bhagavad Gita is all about. Krishna as the man what man? The Lord who knew everything absolutely in its essentials. The whole truth was personified by him. He is the person. Therefore, he is telling Arjun to get out of some of those things. In fact, that is the background of revelation of Bhagavad Gita. And this is what I tried to say. Arjun also believed that everything contained in the Vedas, we are going to die, I am going to kill, I am going to get killed, this is mine. All those emotions, all those things have been clarified by the Lord. And that is the background. And that is why I brought this subject. Now, Arjun also believed that he was a Kshatriya. Krishna also uses the word कि तुम भाई अपने को अर्जुन से कहते हैं कि तुम अपने को क्षत्रिय मानते हो तो उठो और युद्ध करो अगर मानते हो. Nowhere in Bhagavad Gita is the caste system and being taken forward. The Gita rejects the caste system. Lock, stock and barrel. There is no such thing as Brahman, Vaishya, Shudra and Kshatriya and all that. I mean, what has India come to? Can you imagine? I'll give you an example. Very recently, in Jaisalmer, Guruji, 46 cremation sites were identified to cater to cremation of 46 castes available in that area. If you look at Indian history, that has been our bane. Why have foreigners, whether Muslims or people from the Middle East or Genghis Khan or Britishers or Spaniards or Portuguese, why have they come and ruled on us? Why? Because we have continued to subscribe in this myth of caste. We are a house divided. The danger, my friends, lies within. There is no such thing as caste. Bhagavad Gita does not in any way support it. If you look at verses 13 to 18 of chapter 4 or verses 40 to 44 of chapter 18, at least in my analysis, in my understanding, I may be wrong, I stand to be corrected. Right? I have found that there is no support for the caste system. And why Manu, circa 1500 BC, 3500 years from now, much after the Bhagavad Gita was revealed, why he continued and misinterpreted those slokas from Yajurveda and Atharvaveda. At least I have not found an answer. I have also not found an answer why a luminary like Adi Shankar, the greatest known commentator on Bhagavad Gita, why he never stood up in the 8th century AD and stood up against and criticized this. It is unfortunate that even today, except for some very, very stray voices, right? Some Ganeshwar, for example, some Tukaram of Maharaj, some very, very stray voices, they are the people who have stood up against caste. But I don't know why as a nation, why as a society, why as discriminating individuals, why as people to who are blessed with such literature as the Upanishads, as Bhagavad Gita, will still continue to subscribe to the caste system. Gita rejects it. And this is one example how it is a very, very revolutionary book. Another example is, it has changed the definition of dharma. It has brought down, it is not accidental that Bhagavad Gita was revealed by Lord Shri Krishna on a battlefield. It was to tell each one of us. We are all Arjuna-likes. We still continue to, harbor those same kind of thoughts. We still continue to believe so many things which Arjuna believed. We are all Arjuna-likes. And Krishna, the Lord himself, who taught Arjuna to get away, we still, in spite of this wisdom being available to us, we are still not moving away from that. Right? Krishna, in fact, brought dharma down from Himalayan caves, from remote ashrams in mutts, in forests, in caves. He brought it down to everyday life. And much beyond, he took it to the war field and told Arjuna, right, Yogam Atisht Uttisht, in chapter 4, verse 42, if I were to define the crux of Bhagavad Gita, it lies in these words. Yogam Atisht Uttisht, verse 42, chapter 4. He says, be ensconced in yoga and rise in the cause of the larger common good. Sarv Bhut Hite Rata. That is the cornerstone of religion, of dharma. And if Bhishma, Guru Drona, Kripacharya, such people chose, for whatever reasons they had, if they chose to side with Adharma, if they chose to side with Duryodhana, if they chose to side with Dhritarashtra, right? If they chose to side with narrow and parochial interests, Krishna said, don't worry, stand up and fight against them. If you kill them, you will be doing your duty. And what was the duty? To stand up in the cause of dharma. And what was that dharma? It was the cause of the larger common good. Hastinapur was, the Raj of Hastinapur would have been under Dharmraj. Not importantly whether it was Yudhishthira or Arjun or Bhim or anyone else. It was Dharmraj. Dharm ka jo Raj sthapit kar sake, hai na? Wo, that Krishna advised Arjun. And therefore, the Bhagavad Gita has changed the definition of dharma. It is no longer performing yajna. There's nothing wrong with yajna. But to stand up in the larger common good, that is dharma. If there is a difference between personal good and larger good, Gita says, eschew the personal good spontaneously and rise to the larger common good. That is the definition. And if there is no difference, if they are same, if I as a family man have a part duty towards my family, there's nothing wrong that I look after my family. There's nothing wrong if I, work, if I teach, if I make money in the right way. I'm not talking of the wrong ways. Right? So that is the definition of dharma has been enlarged in Bhagavad Gita. In fact, I read out a definition which I tried to synthesize of my understanding. What does it? My understanding is, the Lord Master in verses 11 to 30 has explained to his disciple Arjun that it does not behoove lamenting after possible death of Bhishma, Drona, his kith and kin, etc. Should he, pursuant to his Manav Dharma, end up slaying them in this war to re-establish Dharma. And what is Dharma? Righteousness, justice, liberty, equality, working to ensure that social discourse is based on ethics, love, compassion, forgiveness, honesty, etc. Spontaneously trading off personal good for the larger common good and or selflessness. Seeing unity in diversity, respecting the rights of those who believe in other faiths and even those of non-believers, giving peace and the requisite space. As I just said, we have given space even to Charvak. He was a materialist. There was nothing. We have given space, we have called, Gautam Buddha Bhagwan. His philosophy does not measure up to Advaita Vedanta. Not that what he said was wrong, but it was only part. So this is another revolutionary aspect. And in Bhagavad Gita, Yajna, he said in the old time Yajna was, theek hai, aapne ashram mein havan kiya, ye kiya, nothing wrong with that. But karma can be raised to the level of Yajna. This is what Gita says. This is what Krishna is teaching Arjuna. And that is another very, very revolutionary aspect of Bhagavad Gita. Next thing is, Gita also debunks concepts like, heaven and hell, like rebirth, like Devis and Devtas, and I will explain why I say this. Now, having seen that there is only one consciousness, absolutely one illumina, You may call it Paramatma, Jivatma, anything that you want to call it, soul, spirit, anything, right? If there is one, only one, then what is reborn? This body? After all, that is beyond birth, it is beyond death, it is the illumina. So that illumina remains the same, it does not change, it is changeless. What is being born, what is dying, is this body, right? Therefore, rebirth of what? If you ask, I mean, you know, we have written a whole lot of philosophy in the Vedas has dealt with this aspect. But Vedanta, the Bhagavad Gita, takes us beyond it. You must question rebirth of what? Now, therefore, this concept of rebirth is a Vedic concept. It's not an Upanishadic or Vedantic or Gita concept. One. And likewise, when this illumina, this knower, this consciousness is everywhere, it is illumining everything in the cosmos. It is illumining the microcosm. It is illumining the macrocosm. It is illumining the atom, the subatomic particle. It is also illumining the entire space, everything. The same illumina is everywhere to illuminate, right? Therefore, how does this concept of heaven or hell stand scrutiny? How does what is present everywhere, absolutely, does it have to travel from here to there? From the earth to a heaven? From the earth to a hell? So one must sit back and think. My idea is, you need not agree with what I say. I am just trying to provoke your thought. Think what the Vedas had said. Think what the Gita and Vedantic darshan is saying, or the Bhagavad Gita is saying. Likewise, right, this concept of Devis and Devtas, you must have heard Srimad Bhagavad several times. And Govardhan Leela, what happens? The Lord picks up the Govardhan mount on his little finger. Now, what is he trying to point out? And Gita, I mean, I will read out those verses to you. He says, look, it is me who upholds nature. जो ये गोवर्धन पर्वत का जो प्रसंग है भगवत श्रीमद् भागवत में, भगवान गोवर्धन पर्वत को उठा के यही, this is the message which the Lord is communicating. I uphold nature. Right? It is not that Indra controlled water. So these concepts of the 330 करोड़ देवी देवता जो हमारे यहाँ हैं, ये भी हमारे वैदिक काल की सोच है. For we thought of everything when we were in our quest to experiment, to know our surroundings, to know our nature. We learned so much is correct about them, right? We thought like in our mold, like as humans, we are humans on the earth, there must be a superhuman kind of entity sitting in the skies controlling the rains. There must be a superhuman kind of entity sitting in the sun and controlling the sun. Likewise, Vayu Devtas, Jal Devta. You know, why these are basically Devtas? They are all benevolent aspects of nature. That is, and today we continue to remain bemused with this terminology of Devis and Devtas. Ki ye uske devta, ye uske devta, ye uske devta. There is one nature, there is one Lord, there is one consciousness. That is, this is the message. This is another revolutionary aspect of the Gita. So, these Devi Devtas are in fact part of nature. There is no real existence. The Lord is there because as we see, I mean we have seen that there has to be one consciousness, there has to be one truth. So he is that truth. His higher nature is changeless, his lower nature is changeful, and this changeful world, this changeful cosmos is nature. So whether we want to now subscribe to the theory of heaven, hell, rebirth, this, that, and Devis and Devtas, no, it doesn't stand to logical scrutiny. Now, it does not mean, let me put in a caveat here, right? It does not mean that as human beings, we can say, okay, now that there is no hell, now there is no such thing, I must pick up a knife and go and butcher somebody. No. No. That is against the larger common. So that is why, if you read the Gita, this term, Sarvbhut-hite rata, it comes many, many times. The larger common good. And that is what, if you read chapter 3, verses 10 to 25, this concept becomes clear that nature, we have to live in close harmony with nature, and that is how nature will remain, benevolent to us. If we play with the pristine nature of nature, right? If we pollute our waters, if we pollute the earth, if we pollute the space, right? We are being myopic. We are only, ensuring that our future generations will live in increasing danger. We are already faced with high levels of pollution. Whether you go to Bangalore town, you go to New Delhi, you go to all kinds of places around, all over the world, the global temperatures are rising, the sea levels are going to rise. Right? We are playing with nature. The Bhagavad Gita in verses 3:10 to 25 teaches us exactly this, to live in consonance with nature. That as humans, it is incumbent on us to look after other humans, to eschew our narrow parochial interests, and to look and remain in harmony with nature. That is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching. That is how this book is really, really revolutionary. Now, how many of you have something to do with science? I could have said so much that where Bhagavad Gita teaches us or takes us, even modern day science, till this moment has not reached where the Bhagavad Gita took us. Right? जो सृष्टि की उत्पत्ति की बात है, आप लोगों ने सुना होगा, है ना? महाविस्फोट, हिरण्यगर्भ से महाविस्फोट, Big Bang Theory, and you might have heard about it. Gita talks about it. And we talked about the big crunch, the possible collapse of the universe, and pralay, jisko kaha hai. And for the first time, we talked about the Big Bang in the year 1932. For the first time, we talked about the big crunch in the year 1979. Bhagavad Gita was written 5,116 years ago. It was revealed by the Lord 5,116 years ago. It talked about all this. The atom, Anu, for the first time, the term atomos was mentioned in 450 BC by a Greek philosopher, and his name was Democritus. Atomos means uncuttable. तो logically सोचते हुए कि भाई इसको छोटा करें, छोटा करके करते. He came to a point करने पे अब इसको छोटा नहीं कर सकते. So he termed that word as atomos in 450 BC. Right? And it is, but in Bhagavad Gita, in verse 9, chapter 8, the term Anu Anyasam has been used. Atom and smaller than the atom, Anyasam. Right? It 5,116 years ago. And this Anyasam, science talked of something smaller than the atom only in the year 1897. when J.J. Thomson was experimenting with cathode rays. And he realized that there was something. Now we know that there are far more number of particles than just the neutron, the pure proton. We have got new muons and neurons and all kinds of things. So Gita talked about atom and subatomic particles. It talked about Big Bang. It talked about, the Big Crunch. Now, as far as evolution theory is concerned, it can be very scientific. I mean, but you must know, as students, हमारे यहाँ हिरण्यगर्भ की परिभाषा मैं आपको बता देता हूँ की गई थी. क्या है हिरण्यगर्भ? है ना, अथर्ववेद में जो लोग अथर्ववेद, यहाँ पे अथर्ववेद आप 427 427 and it reads, in the beginning was Hiranyagarbha, the seed of elemental existence. ये और इसके साथ साथ आप 1953 को भी देख लीजिएगा. ऋग्वेद में 10:121 reads, and in the beginning there was neither not nor aught. Then there was neither sky nor atmosphere above. What then enshrouded all this universe? In the receptacle of what was it contained? Then was there neither death nor immortality. Then was there neither day nor night nor light nor darkness. Only the existent one breathed calmly, self-contained. So this concept, I mean, this is Rig Veda, and it is anybody's guess how old the Rig Veda is. I mean, I would presume it would be at least 15,000 years. Gita is 5,000 years, and all these Vedas survived for aeons before Vedanta, Upanishads, or the Bhagavad Gita came to be revealed. So these are questions which the Bhagavad Gita has answered. The Lord has said, Ki I store the universe in an embryonic form, Hiranyagarbha. I release it for nothing, with nothing, no aim to gain, to add to my pleasure or anything, nothing. I just spontaneously release it. And over a period of time, this will merge back into me and get stored again in this seed. Like, So we talked of this Hiranyagarbha ages ago, and science talked about it in 1932 and 1979. We made calculations. I have given detailed calculations ki what is this, how long the universe has been in existence, what is according to the present day science. Those figures compare very, very well, right? Except that the figures given by science are still estimates. I am a scientist. I have got nothing against science. I am all for scientific thinking, but I am not for making assumptions and which are unsubstantiated. Which what are we being made to believe? They say that without a creator, this universe has got created. That is, there is creation without a creator. This is what we are being made to believe. That this creation was accidental. First is, जो हमने जिस चीज को हिरण्यगर्भ कहा, they said कि the first initial theory, till very recently, I am telling you very recently, what it said? Out of nothing, suddenly, atoms of hydrogen, helium, possibly lithium, they emerged. And they have over a period of time become and multiplied into different kinds of atoms and then molecules, and they have grown and grown, and now we have got planets and galaxies and things like this. That this is all accidental. What are we made to believe? मैं आपको उदाहरण दे सकता हूँ उसका, है ना? कि what science is by making this, just because they want to deny that there was a creator, that there was a cause, just because you refuse to accept that reality, you are trying to, propound these theories, And what is the percentage of it being correct? You know, you blindfold a man and mark a grain of sand. जितनी पूरे हमारी धरती के ऊपर रेत है, रेत के कण हैं, है ना, उनमें से किसी एक कण को किसी जगह उसको उसपे एक निशान लगा करके उसको छुपा दीजिए, उसको छिपा दीजिए जाकर के कनाडा में, और इंडिया में उससे कहिए भैया तुम्हारे आंखों पे हमने पट्टी बांध दी, अब उसको ढूंढो, तो वो पहली ट्राई में जाके कनाडा पहुंच जाता है और उसको निकाल लेता है। तो क्या ये संभव है? साइंस आज हमको इसी चीज को बिलीव करने के लिए कह रही है। दूसरा उदाहरण, जैसे एक जंक यार्ड है, बहुत बड़ा जंक यार्ड हो, बैंगलोर में भी है, दुनिया भर के वहां इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गुड्स और पहाड़ के पहाड़ चीजों के बने हुए जंग के, उसके थ्रू मान लीजिए कहिए कि एक आंधी तूफान चले, उससे गुजरे और गुजर के दूसरी तरफ क्या खड़ा देखते हैं, एक जंबो जेट बोइंग 747 तैयार। दिस इज व्हाट वी आर बीइंग मेड टू बिलीव कि आकस्मिक रूप से एक्सीडेंटली दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग। नो, दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट। आई डू नॉट वांट टू बिलीव। दूसरा उदाहरण मैं आपको एक और साइंटिफिक उसका दे सकता हूं कि हमारा जो डीएनए है, एक इन वन पिन हेड ऑफ डीएनए, पिन का जो है उसके हेड में, उस डीएनए के अंदर आप अंदाजा लगाइए कितनी इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर होती है। इक्विवेलेंट टू अ स्टैक ऑफ बुक्स गोइंग अराउंड द इक्वेटर 5000 टाइम्स। 5000 मतलब दफे उस इक्वेटर के चारों तरफ वो किताबों का चट्टा लगाया जाए, उन किताबों में जो इंफॉर्मेशन होगी वो एक पिन पॉइंट ऑफ डीएनए के अंदर इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर है। हमको ये भी कहा जा रहा है, इसको भी आप आकस्मिक और एक्सीडेंटल मान करके स्वीकार करेंगे। एक और उदाहरण दे देता हूं, ये जो हमारी सृष्टि है ये एक्सपैंड कर रही है। हमसे कहा जा रहा है, साइंस को ये बात मालूम है कि जो रेट ऑफ एक्सपेंशन है, अगर इससे एक जरा कण भर भी ज्यादा होता तो ये गैलेक्सीज और स्टार्स और प्लैनेट्स कुछ फॉर्म नहीं होते, ये सारा सब बिखर जाता, और अगर इससे कम होता तो कुछ बनता नहीं, ये वैसे उससे पहले कोलैप्स हो जाता। तो इसका मतलब बिल्कुल सही, एकदम इतना प्रिसाइज है, डीएनए की इंफॉर्मेशन भी प्रिसाइज है, एक्सपेंशन का रेट भी इतने प्रिसाइज है, एटमॉस्फेयर भी हमारा इतना प्रिसाइज है, और ये कहा जा रहा है कि भाई ये मान लो ये सब आकस्मिक है। तो मानने को जी नहीं चाहता, साइंटिस्ट हूँ, है ना, चाहता हूँ कि कोई एटलीस्ट आई वांट समथिंग मोर लॉजिकल। एंड व्हाई? जस्ट बिकॉज वी वांट टू डिनाई द एग्जिस्टेंस of a creator. That is the sole logic. Anyway, so this is what I was just trying to, something scientific. Now, I can give you more examples. एक छोटा सा उदाहरण मैं आपको, हनुमान चालीसा का पाठ आप रोज करते हैं। युग सहस्त्र योजन पर भानु, लीलियो ताही मधुर फल जानू। अब आप देखिए कितनी साइंस इसके अंदर एम्बेडेड है। युग इज 12,000 ह्यूमन ईयर्स, सहस्त्र इज 1000, योजन इज approximately 8 miles. So 12,000 into 1,000 into 8, if you multiply it, it is 96 million miles. That is approximately the distance between the sun and the earth. It varies from 93 million miles to 96 million miles. तो ये कहीं all this information was available to us. ये हमारे वेदों में बहुत कुछ अच्छा है, बहुत कुछ सही है, हमारे पुराणों में चाहे रामायण हो, महाभारत हो, सब कुछ हो, बहुत कुछ सही है ना। बहुत कुछ सही भी नहीं है, उसको धीमे धीमे वक्त से इग्नोर हो जाएगा, और हम उसको आगे बढ़ाए जाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं, मगर इग्नोर हो जाएगा। जहां हम सृष्टि की 2 बिलियन ईयर्स और 5 बिलियन ईयर्स और 14 बिलियन ईयर्स की बात करते हैं, तो 5,000 ईयर्स और 3,000 ईयर्स इज मिनिस्क्यूल। और उसके अंदर अपनी जिंदगी के बारे में सोचिए, 60, 70, 80, 90 साल, 100 साल की जिंदगी, उसको हम समझते हैं हल्दी की गांठ चूहे के हाथ में। यही उदाहरण दे सकता हूं। गीता में ही देखिए, मैं आपको एक उदाहरण और देता हूं कि कॉस्मिक माइंड और इंडिविजुअल माइंड, ये जो अहंकार है, ये सेंस ऑफ टेम्परेरी आइडेंटिटी है। आत्मा या परमात्मा की कोई आइडेंटिटी नहीं है, वो एक ही है, इसलिए उसकी डिफरेंट आइडेंटिटीज हो ही नहीं सकती। तो ये जो 7वें अध्याय के 4 से 7वें श्लोक में मैंने आपको बताया कि 5 तत्व और मन, बुद्धि, अहंकार, ये ह्यूमन बॉडी के कंस्ट्रक्शन बताया, बाकी तो फिर और चीजें हैं 13वें अध्याय में। तो मन, बुद्धि और अहंकार, ये अहंकार क्या है? दिस इज अ टेम्पररी आइडेंटिटी, टेम्पररी ईगो जिसको कहते हैं। एक कुम्हार ने कुल्हाड़ बनाया, एक ही मिट्टी, एक ही चाक, एक ही कुम्हार, एक ही चक्की में रोल किया और वही 2 हाथों से बना रहा है। जब वो बना लेता है तो नंबर उन पे डालता है 1 से लेके 1000 कुल्हाड़ आज मैंने बनाए। तो ये एक टेम्पररी आइडेंटिटी है। द इल्यूमिनर इज इल्यूमिनिंग डिफरेंट फील्ड्स, इसलिए गीता में 13वें अध्याय का नाम है ना, क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञ ज्ञान योग। तो ये शरीर एक क्षेत्र है, क्षेत्र के हम इनन्यूमरेबल क्षेत्र हैं, इन्फिनिट क्षेत्र हैं इस ब्रह्मांड में, चेंजिंग ब्रह्मांड में इन्फिनिट क्षेत्र हैं, क्षेत्र के एक। और ये जो टेम्पररी ईगो के कारण आदमी को जो आइडेंटिटी है, जानवरों में भी है टेम्पररी आइडेंटिटी, तो वो उस सेंस ऑफ आइडेंटिटी को ईगो कहेगी। इट इज दिस ईगो विच इज मेक्स अस फील वी आर डिफरेंट। In essence, the consciousness remains one. ये भी और लॉजिक, इससे आप एक और गीता का आपको साइंस का उदाहरण दे देता हूँ। उसमें है ना, भगवान 10वें अध्याय में अपना परिचय दे रहे हैं, मरीचि मरुताम अस्मि, है ना, ऑफ द मारूट्स आई एम मरीचि। ये व्हाट दीज आर, मरीचि क्या है? दीज आर कॉस्मिक वेव्स, है ना। देयर आर, अभी तक साइंस ने बहुत गिनी चुनी, जिनको हम नॉर्दर्न लाइट्स कहते हैं, जो हरी कनाडा के ऊपर या उधर दिखाई देती हैं ज्यादातर, नॉर्दर्न लाइट स्पेस से भी हम फोटोग्राफ करते हैं। आवर वैदिक सीयर्स वर एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई 49, एंड इन साइंस टुडे वी हैव आइडेंटिफाइड अ फ्यू टिल डेट। 11 टाइप्स ऑफ सोलर रेज वर आइडेंटिफाइड, वी हैव आइडेंटिफाइड ओनली 1, वी जस्ट टर्म इट एज सोलर रेज टुडे। कभी थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस कर देते हैं, कभी सोलर फ्लेयर बताते हैं, कभी ये बताते हैं। तो देयर इज सो मच ऑफ साइंस। अनदर, पद्म पुराण के अंदर हमारे यहाँ, हमें कितने जमाने से पद्म पुराण कितनी पुरानी है? 84 लाख योनियों की बात कही गई है। वेरी रिसेंटली, वेरी रिसेंटली, ओनली 2 years back, human kind has, the scientific thinking has now said कि okay, we have 87.5, 87.5 लाख, 84 लाख नहीं, 87.5 लाख हैं, ±10%। ये नहीं कहा, तो हमारे यहाँ 84 लाख यूनिट को कहा गया, उनको आइडेंटिफाई किया गया, ये सब किया गया है। तो बहुत साइंस हमारे यहाँ उपलब्ध थी। देखिए, आइंस्टाइन से एक सवाल पूछा गया कि भाई तीसरे विश्व युद्ध के विषय में आपका क्या ख्याल है? तो आइंस्टाइन ने तपाक से जवाब दिया कि देखो भाई, तीसरे विश्व युद्ध के विषय में मैं कुछ कह नहीं सकता। हाँ, इतना जरूर जानता हूँ कि जब चौथा विश्व युद्ध होगा तो वो स्टोन, पिक्सेस और एक्सिस के साथ होगा। इसका अर्थ क्या है कि जो भी हमारा आज साइंटिफिक एडवांस है, जो भी हमारी साइंटिफिक नॉलेज है, जो भी आज हमने प्रगति की है, वो लोप हो जाएगी। ऐसे ही लगता है कि जो हमारी वैदिक काल की हमारी जो साइंटिफिक नॉलेज और वो थी, वो लोप हो गई। अभी डॉक्टर साहब से मेरी थोड़ी देर पहले बात हो रही थी, गीता के आप लोग श्लोक रोजाना उनका पाठ करते हैं, उनका मनन करते हैं। ये भी देखिए, गीता की सब, ये संस्कृत की एक बहुत अच्छी प्रॉपर्टी है, इसलिए वो सबसे ज्यादा साइंटिफिक ग्रामर उसकी है, और इट इज द बेस्ट कंप्यूटर लैंग्वेज नोन टू मैनकाइंड। इट इज सो मैथमेटिकल। और अगर एक श्लोक के अंदर, है ना, एक ही थॉट है, तो आप क्योंकि संस्कृत के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो इस शब्द को यहाँ रखिए या यहाँ रख दीजिए, यहाँ रख दीजिए या यहाँ रख दीजिए, उसका अन्वय वैसे ही का वैसा हो सकता है। तो एक प्रश्न, अभी मैं वाइस चांसलर साहब के साथ बैठा था, तो मैंने उनसे आग्रह किया कि हमारे गीता के जो हमारे श्लोक हैं, इस फॉर्मेट में कॉइंड क्यों है, इसकी नॉलेज भी हमारी खत्म हो गई। आज इंडिया में क्या पूरी वर्ल्ड में एक भी साउंड लैब इस बात के लिए इक्विप्ड नहीं है कि उसके ऊपर हम रिसर्च कर सकें। ये एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है जिसपे बहुत भयंकर रिसर्च की जरूरत है। किसी श्लोक को दूसरी तरीके से क्यों नहीं कॉइन किया गया, एक कारण तो मैं बताता हूँ जो हमें वैदिक काल से मालूम है कि जो ह्यूमन माउथ के अंदर है, संस्कृत की एक एक अल्फाबेट को जब आप बोलते हैं तो इट अफेक्ट्स अ डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ द माउथ और द पैलेट, तो दैट creates a different kind of, it affects a different center of the body. That is one. Now when it is pronounced loudly or in chorus, it has vibrations going out. So we have no study available to us today. Unfortunately, that part of our knowledge has got lost. So I just requested the Honorable Vice-Chancellor that if it is possible, I have tried, I raised these questions in a number of places, at Pune, at so many Sanskrit universities where I have delivered talks. Everywhere so far the answer has been, sir, no such information. At least for Bhagavad Gita is available, partly for Veda, for Veds it is, not for Bhagavad Gita. So this is, some things, the lecture I didn't intend it to be a lecture at all, it was just sharing some thoughts. So I thought I'll just let you know that Bhagavad Gita, read it now thinking that it is extremely logical, it is extremely revolutionary, it is extremely scientific, it is beyond Hinduism, it is not a religious text at all, it is hardcore philosophy that can be lived and should be lived. And we are Arjuna likes, we have the benefit of this great gospel available to us. This is exactly what I just wanted to share with you today. I could have continued, I could have said so much more, but no, the time is enough and I think it's enough. Thanks.
My dear respected Gargji and my dear students and staff members, I'm extremely happy that all of you are listening to the lecture given by Gargji on the Gita, Bhagavad Gita. For the benefit of our audience, for our chief guest, I want to tell him that Bhagavad Gita is a part of our curriculum. It's a part of our curriculum, and all the students they learn Bhagavad Gita in an introductory level, not in a higher level. Whereas our consciousness students, they go deep into it. They study the Bhashya Trayas, and they ought to study and write the examination and other things. Another very important, unique thing is in the Maitri Milan, so all our students chant 18 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Dharma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Every day they chant 18 shlokas. Every day at 8 to 8:40, the Maitri Milan session is there. And one of our important dignitaries will be giving commentary on Bhagavad Gita. That is what is there. It is a part and parcel of our university, and you have taken that, you have given us some scientific background. It was very valuable and very good for all of us. We enjoyed your beautiful lecture. So I take this opportunity on behalf of our university, Swami Vivekananda Sansthan, and on behalf of all of you, I want to thank Gargji for accepting our invitation. Very, very distinguished. It was not arranged actually, but we requested it. Since our students are exposed to Bhagavad Gita, we wanted him to enlighten all of us in terms of that beautiful scientific language and scientific knowledge. And I'm extremely happy to tell all of you that he has written a very good commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Holy Gita is written, and in case if anybody wants to purchase, I think it is available in several stores. You can purchase it because he has given the commentary on Bhagavad Gita in a very scientific outlook. That is a specialty. That is why Guruji told, you have to come to your university and share your thoughts with all of us. As a token of love and respect, we want to honor him with a small shawl and our momentum. Please accept the same on behalf of all our students and S-VYASA University.
I am, as I said, I am not a master. I am a simple student of this book, and these are the notes which I have tried to share with you. And in all humility, I accept this honor. I am not worthy of it. I am not worthy of it. In fact, my knowledge of Sanskrit is very, very poor. And what I have tried to do is I have broken down, as I said, कि engineer का दिमाग थोड़ा खपती होता है. So I have broken down every single word of Bhagavad Gita into its elements, from Sanskrit to Devanagari, then to Roman English, and then to explain the word of explain every word in detail. And that is how I have played with it. That is how I have tried to decipher in my own way. You need not be bound by what I have said, but Guruji has a copy of the book, and I will request him to get 1 or 2 copies for the library so that you can have a look at it. It will be my pleasure. Thank you.
Take this opportunity to thank him once again for accepting our invitation, and I am sure you may be having a lot of questions. So once the program is over, you can meet him and ask any questions are there. You can speak to him, and I am sure he is going to give you some interesting thoughts about all those things. Okay. So I once again thank all of you for being with us for this wonderful session of Holy Bhagavad Gita, the discourse on Bhagavad Gita by our Gargji in terms of scientific outlook. So let us close the session with Shanti Mantra. Please sit erect, chant Omkara once. Om.